by far the most important aspect when buying a fertiliser spreader is to have one that can spread the fertiliser evenly. And by evenly, we mean evenly across the bout width, from tram line to tram line, that we actually have a spreader that can spread the desired fertiliser evenly across that, so that all areas of the field get the same amount of fertiliser. So when we talk about evenness, how do we get that? There are three important factors in getting evenness. One is the machine design itself. The second is setting the machine properly for the fertiliser and the bout width that you're using. And the third one is having good quality fertiliser in the first place. So those 3 points are hugely important. Dealing with machine design first, there are many differences in machine design. The factors that are going to impact on how evenly the fertiliser spreads are the factors that are actually involved in the spreading itself, such as the discs, the veins which are on the disc, and the drop point of fertiliser on the disc. These are hugely important. And as we can see in the two different machines here, they're very different between the two machines here. On this machine, you can see quite different veins. They're spreading outwards from the tractor and quite different from the other machine here. On my left hand side here, we see quite a different spreader. It's actually spreading the other way around. Flat veins, or flat discs, and much bigger discs if you like, so quite different in their design. Both of them can give a good spread, but they have different characteristics, and it's very important to set them in according to those characteristics. When we get the setting actually, in terms of the fertiliser spreader itself, what are we setting? That depends on the spreader. Say for instance in this particular brand here, it's mainly the disc type itself and the veins and their setting on the disc. Those are the key elements in terms of setting this fertiliser spreader for evenness. And you need very precise setting of the vein position on this type of spreader to get that spreader to spread evenness. And that's unique for particular fertilisers and for particular bout widths. If we look at this spreader over here, it's quite different, as the rotation of the discs is different on this spreader, so there's less change required on this particular type of spreader. The vein position can be changed, but for most types of fertiliser, they're kept in the same position. And what we do actually on this machine is we make sure that the correct disc for the bout width is being used, and then there is some variation on the angle of the hopper, depending on the type of fertiliser that's being used. So the setting changes on each machine, and it's very important that you consult the manufacturer's resources for that, knowing your fertiliser type and knowing the bout width that you're working at. In addition to the features I've picked out on these machines, other fertiliser spreaders, you may actually be altering the drop point of fertiliser on the disc. In other words, depending on the characteristics of the fertiliser and the bout width, you may actually change the position of where the fertiliser drops on the disc. So in total then, the settings that you need to look for are the actual angle of the disc to the crop, the disc type itself, the vein types, the vein position and the drop point. It's a combination of some of those depending on machine types that you will be setting to make sure you spread fertiliser evenly.